God says, Elon Musk received a message from heaven. Your breakthrough begins the moment you open this, but if you overlook it, you may miss a key shift meant for you. Don't skip, open before the door changes. My child, you felt something shift the moment you arrived here, as if a quiet whisper brushed against your awareness and asked you to listen more closely. Even now, my beloved child, there is a gentle stirring around you, a sense that something meaningful is reaching toward your life from an unexpected direction. Before you rush ahead, allow yourself to settle, because what I'm about to share carries a calm weight that dissolves the urgency you've been holding. You don't need to strain, simply breathe and stay with me. People often imagine divine messages appearing only in sacred spaces, but heaven loves to speak through surprising vessels. That is why the mention of someone like Elon Musk is not about celebrity, status, or predicting private revelations. It is a symbol, a reminder that insight can travel through unusual channels, through innovators, dreamers, and people who make humanity look upward. It invites you to consider that guidance might already be moving toward you from a source you never expected. Something in you recognized that possibility, and that is why you paused here instead of scrolling past. There is a contrast unfolding inside you now, the tension between urgency and calm. Part of you feels the pressure of unanswered questions, delayed breakthroughs, and the quiet fear that time is running out. Yet another part senses a settling peace, as if heaven is placing a soft hand on your shoulder and saying you are exactly where you need to be. This moment is not a warning, it is an opening. It is the gentle beginning of something aligning beneath the surface. Stay close to this feeling. You are standing at the edge of a shift, and though you may not see it fully, you can feel its outline taking shape. There is a breakthrough forming around your life, not sudden chaos, not forced change, but a steady rearranging that brings clarity, provision, and direction. Think of it like dawn. The sky brightens before the sun appears, and you are standing in that early light now, sensing what has not yet revealed itself. When heaven wants to get your attention, it often begins with a nudge, a synchronicity, or an unexpected reference that makes your heart lean forward. That is the quiet thread woven into this moment. The mention of an unlikely messenger is simply a mirror, showing you how prepared your spirit already is to receive guidance. You have been noticing small signs lately, subtle affirmations that seem too delicate to name. They were not coincidences. They were invitations. So stay with me as your heart softens and your breath finds its rhythm again. Something is opening around you, something meant to bring peace rather than pressure. Let this moment remind you that heaven knows how to reach you in ways that bypass fear and awaken recognition. Your breakthrough is not demanding panic, it is inviting stillness. Let the quiet around you reveal what is already moving toward you now. Before the deeper message unfolds, let your whole being settle into a quieter rhythm, as if you are stepping out of the noise of the world and into a sacred room prepared just for you. Take one slow breath, not forced or dramatic, simply a gentle inhale that reminds your body it is safe to soften. As you exhale, feel the weight you've been carrying loosen its grip, like dust drifting from your shoulders. Stay with me here, my dear one, because this shift begins in the places that silence understands long before the mind catches up. You may notice a small change already, a slight warmth in your chest or the echo of calm spreading beneath your ribs. This is how peace often begins, not with a grand moment, but with a subtle invitation. Allow your breath to move through you again, slower this time, almost as though heaven itself is breathing alongside you. Each inhale gathers the scattered pieces, each exhale releases what was never yours to hold. This is the contrast your spirit has been craving, the move from crowded thoughts into a space where clarity can finally land. Let the world outside fade for just a moment. Every sound, every unfinished task, every expectation can wait. Right now, there is only this soft stillness wrapping around you like a warm shawl. Notice your shoulders gently lowering. Notice your jaw unclenching. Notice your heartbeat finding a calmer rhythm. Even if you don't fully understand why this moment feels different, trust the feeling itself. Peace arrives quietly, and it speaks to your body before your mind interprets the message. Stay present with this sensation. The more your breath steadies, the more your spirit will open. Imagine yourself sitting beside a calm lake at dawn, the surface unbroken, the air cool and gentle against your skin. That is the energy rising within you now. Let the quiet seep into the corners of your heart that have felt tense or tired. Let yourself belong to this stillness without apology. Remain here a moment longer, breathing softly, receiving freely, allowing the sacred quiet to settle. Something within you is preparing to recognize what comes next, and its first language is peace. You've carried more than you've ever admitted, even to the quietest parts of yourself. There have been days when your heart felt stretched thin, as if one more disappointment might undo you. You've waded through long seasons where answers seemed delayed, drifting like distant lights you could never reach. And in those moments, my beloved child, you wondered if heaven had forgotten your name. That ache is real, and naming it does not diminish your strength. You've endured the confusion of wanting to move forward while everything around you felt frozen. You've tried to stay hopeful while watching others receive breakthroughs that looked like the ones you prayed for. You've sat awake at night replaying conversations, decisions, and missed chances, asking if you somehow ruined your own path. These questions grew heavy, settling in your chest like a stone that would not lift. And yet, beneath all that weight, something in you kept reaching toward the light. You may have felt abandoned, but you were never alone for a single breath. Even when you couldn't sense it, you were being held in a way deeper than emotion. There is a soft contrast at work here, the space between feeling forsaken and actually being protected. Sometimes the most painful delays are disguises, shielding you from paths that would have drained your spirit. Sometimes the unanswered prayer is the very thing preserving your future joy. You didn't fail, you were being redirected. You didn't lose, you were being guarded. You didn't fall behind, you were being aligned with timing you couldn't yet see. And though you questioned the silence was carrying a message meant for your good. You were being shaped for something that required more clarity, more readiness, and more peace. Think of the times you almost settled for less because you were tired of waiting. Think of the moments you forced a smile while your heart whispered that something wasn't right. Those subtle discomforts were signals, gentle alarms meant to guide you away from harm. They were not signs of failure, they were signs that your spirit recognized misalignment. Every closed door, every unanswered call, every abrupt ending carried a thread of hidden mercy. Even the heartbreaks that felt unbearable were interrupting something that was never meant to define you. You may not have known it then, but heaven was leaning close, shielding your tender places. You were being held, not punished, carried, not overlooked, guided, not dismissed. And the weight you felt was not evidence of abandonment but the pressure of transformation. Something within you has been growing, preparing to rise in ways you have not yet imagined. There is a reason your spirit didn't give up even when your hope grew thin. A deeper wisdom inside you sensed that the story wasn't over, even when circumstances suggested otherwise. That inner resilience is not accidental. It is a sign of what has been forming beneath the struggle. The confusion you faced is not the final chapter but the threshold before clarity. You have been walking through a season where protection often masqueraded as disappointment. And though the pain was real, it was never pointless. It was shaping your discernment, strengthening your intuition, and preparing space for something better aligned. Let your heart acknowledge what it survived, because honoring the struggle makes room for healing. You are closer to understanding the purpose behind the weight than you realize. And soon, the hidden reasons behind your recent difficulties will begin to reveal their quiet meaning. Every delay that has shaped your path holds a meaning deeper than the frustration it created, and you are ready to see that now. It may feel like doors kept closing just as your hope began to rise, but those closures were not punishments. They were part of a choreography you could not yet recognize, a careful arrangement of timing meant to protect your heart and future. In this space, you can let the truth unfold without pressure. You have stood before opportunities that looked promising, only to watch them dissolve when you reached for them. In those moments you questioned your worth, your timing, and even your intuition, wondering why the path kept shifting beneath your feet. But what felt like rejection was actually alignment, because something unseen was guiding you away from outcomes that would have drained your spirit. Not to stop you, not to shame you, not to deny you, this rhythm of delay was shaping what would rise in your life at the right moment. Think of the doors that seemed closed without warning. Some felt abrupt, almost cruel, as if the universe turned away when you needed support most. But each closure carried a whisper you weren't yet able to hear, steering you toward a foundation sturdy enough to hold your blessing. This is the contrast your spirit has been trying to understand, doors shutting while destiny quietly opens from within. You thought timing was working against you, but timing was standing guard. Delays do not exist to frustrate you, they exist to position you. Every pause gives you space to gather the strength you didn't know you needed. Every hesitation becomes a doorway to discernment, teaching you to feel the difference between what looks good and what is truly aligned. And every slow moment is a quiet miracle, rearranging pieces you cannot yet see. There is nothing accidental about this rhythm you've been walking through. It is a gentle calibration preparing your next step. You may not have realized it, but your spirit has been adjusting, listening, learning, and releasing. Delays softened the fears you once carried and invited you to trust without demanding proof. They helped you recognize the subtle markers of peace, the gentle confirmations that tell you when your path is true. And though the waiting felt heavy, it was lifting what no longer belonged in your future. There is a quiet courage in you now, born from everything that didn't work out, everything that had to pause, and everything that had to close. Let this truth settle into the deepest part of your being. You were never being punished, you were being prepared. Your delays were not failures, they were safeguards shaped by compassion. What you mistook for rejection was a divine redirection preserving your joy, your energy, and your purpose. And now, something within you is beginning to sense a coming alignment, a quiet promise rising like light just before dawn. Trust this gentle shift even if you cannot define it yet. Your spirit recognizes the pattern long before your mind names the meaning. You are being guided toward opportunities shaped for your growth, not your exhaustion. And the doors that felt closed are beginning to realign in ways that honor your truth. Every pause has refined your discernment, helped you hear your intuition, and cleared space for blessings that match your readiness. You are walking into a season where peace will lead you more than pressure ever could. Let your heart rest in this knowing, for alignment is already moving toward you with quiet certainty. Stay open, stay soft, and allow the unfolding to reveal why every delay was carrying you forward. This is the moment your spirit softens. There have been moments lately when something around you felt different, almost as if the air shifted for just a heartbeat. You brushed it off, telling yourself it was nothing, yet a small part of you knew it meant more. My beloved child, heaven has been speaking to you in ways so gentle, so subtle, that they are easy to overlook. But when you look back, you'll see a trail of signs that were never random. Each one carried a thread of intentional love, drawing you closer to alignment. Think about the numbers that kept showing up: 1111 on a receipt, 555 on a license plate, repeating patterns that appeared exactly when your thoughts drifted into uncertainty. You wondered if it was coincidence, but your spirit felt the nudge. These numbers aren't magic, they're reminders, little taps on the shoulder from heaven saying, "You're not wandering. You're being guided." They arrive when your heart needs direction, reassurance, or courage. They show up most when you feel alone, offering a quiet signal that alignment is closer than you think. And then there were the songs, the ones that began playing at the perfect moment, carrying lyrics that spoke directly to your situation. Perhaps it happened when you were driving home with a heavy heart, or when you stepped into a store feeling overwhelmed. A line of music wrapped around you like comfort, saying the words you didn't know you needed. To someone else, it might sound like chance. But for you, it felt like a whisper woven through melody, reminding you that you are seen, heard, and supported. Dreams, too, have been reaching for you. Not all of them were clear, but some carried images that lingered long after you woke. A face you hadn't thought of in years, a place you've never visited yet somehow recognized, a message that felt more like a feeling than a sentence. Dreams speak in symbols when the waking world is too loud for your spirit to hear. They soften your defenses, letting guidance slip through the cracks of your conscious mind. You don't need to decode every detail, simply notice what stays with you, because what remains is what was meant. You've also felt intuitive chills, those sudden waves of energy that rise across your skin at moments when something true is passing through you. It may have happened when someone spoke from their heart, or when you caught yourself making a decision that felt peaceful before it felt logical. These chills are confirmation, a resonance between your intuition and something higher. They are ways your body says, "Pay attention, this is aligned." And if you listen closely, you'll realize they show up when peace is leading the conversation. Even the unexpected confirmations, the ones that seem almost too perfectly timed, have been guiding you. A stranger's comment that mirrors your private worry. A message that arrives right after you whisper a silent prayer. A friend reaching out at the exact moment you felt unseen. These are not coincidences. These are alignments, threads of divine timing weaving through your everyday life. They remind you that heaven is closer than you imagine, moving gently through people and moments that appear ordinary but carry extraordinary meaning. The contrast between randomness and alignment becomes clearer as your awareness grows. When a sign is meant for you, it settles in your chest differently. It doesn't create pressure, it creates peace. It doesn't spark fear, it brings clarity. This is how you will recognize the next sign that comes your way, not by how dramatic it is, but by the calm that rises within you when it appears. Peace is the marker. Peace is the confirmation. Peace is the voice that says, "This is the way." Stay attentive, my dear one. Guidance is already surrounding you, whispering through patterns and timing and sensations that speak directly to your soul. And soon, when the next sign arrives, you will feel its truth long before you understand its meaning. You've listened with an open heart, my beloved child, and now it's time to remember that not every voice or feeling that reaches you deserves access to your spirit. There is a sacred difference between a message that lifts you and a message that startles you into fear. Fear pushes. Peace invites. Panic demands urgency. Peace unfolds gently, giving you room to breathe, think, and choose. When heaven speaks, it does not rush your soul, it settles it. Let that truth become your first safeguard, the quiet boundary that protects your intuition from unnecessary confusion. There have been moments when something inside you tightened, even when the words you heard sounded spiritual. That tightening isn't failure. It's wisdom. It's the signal that the message didn't match the tone of love you were created to recognize. Whenever you feel pressure to act quickly, or a heavy dread forming in your chest, pause. Those sensations are not the language of guidance, they are the language of fear. And you are not meant to build your future on fear-based impulses that drain rather than strengthen you. This is where the peace test becomes your anchor. The peace test is simple, gentle, and trustworthy. When something is meant for you, it carries a softness, even if it challenges you. You'll feel a quiet yes rising from within, a calm certainty that doesn't need to shout. But when something isn't aligned, your body will tell the truth first. Your breath will shorten. Your shoulders will tighten. You may even feel yourself shrinking instead of opening. Peace expands you. Panic contracts you. Let your body be a compass when your mind feels uncertain. You are allowed to question any message, including the ones that sound holy. Discernment is not doubt, discernment is devotion. It honors your spirit by refusing to accept every voice as divine simply because it feels mystical or emotional. You can ask yourself, does this bring clarity or confusion? Does this anchor me or shake me? Does this feel like love or fear wearing a mask? These questions aren't signs of spiritual immaturity. They are signs of spiritual maturity, reminding you that true guidance never violates your dignity or your freedom to choose. If a message tries to scare you into obedience, it is not for you. If it tries to control you, isolate you, or make you feel smaller, it does not come from a place of light. Real alignment supports your growth and honors your autonomy. Real alignment gives you time to breathe. Real alignment leads you to wisdom, not worry. You are not fragile, you are discerning. And heaven trusts you to recognize the difference between pressure and peace, confusion and clarity, fear and truth. So stay grounded, my dear one. Let peace be the gatekeeper of your spirit. If something brings steadiness, makes your breath soften, and feels like love in motion, you can trust it. And if something unsettles you, you can lovingly release it without guilt. Your path unfolds not through panic, but through a peace that knows exactly where you're going. You've walked through so much inner noise, my beloved child, and now your spirit is ready for simple practices that bring you back into your center. When your thoughts feel scattered, when your emotions feel stretched or unsettled, it helps to return to what is gentle and steady. These micro-practices do not require effort, they invite presence. They help you feel the nearness of peace rather than the pressure of worry. Stay with me here, because even the smallest shift can open a door inside you. Begin with a soft breath. Place one hand over your heart, not as a performance but as a quiet reminder that your body is a sanctuary. Inhale slowly through your nose for a count that feels natural, letting the breath expand your chest. Hold it for just a moment, then release it through your mouth, allowing your shoulders to fall. This simple pattern interrupts the looping thoughts that scatter your attention. With each breath, imagine light filling the spaces once crowded by tension. If your mind begins to wander, let it. Then gently guide it back by whispering a small prayer or affirmation, something simple enough for your heart to believe. You might say, "Peace is returning to me," or "I am safe in this moment," or "God, hold me close." Whispering helps quiet the inner noise. It shifts your focus from fear to presence, from overwhelm to trust. Even one whispered line can steady the places that felt shaky only moments before. Another practice is the heart-centering touch. Keep your hand resting on your chest and apply the slightest pressure, not enough to distract you, just enough to remind your body that you are here. Imagine warmth radiating from your palm, moving through your ribs, settling into your lungs. This touch activates the part of you that longs to feel grounded. It brings your awareness from the outer world back into the sacred space within, where peace waits patiently. When your thoughts begin racing, pause and imagine yourself seated beneath a gentle canopy of light. Picture it surrounding you, soft and warm, as if heaven is shielding you from everything that feels too heavy. Let the image unfold naturally. This visualization doesn't require perfection, it requires openness. It helps replace chaotic images with ones that soothe and strengthen you. In that imagined glow, your spirit remembers how loved you are. If you feel disconnected, try a simple grounding ritual. Press your feet firmly into the floor. Notice the texture beneath you, the steady support that never wavers. Let yourself feel held, not by effort but by the quiet certainty that the earth steadies you without question. This practice brings your awareness out of worry and back into the present moment, where peace becomes easier to touch. These small actions create anchored presence instead of scattered thoughts. They remind you that alignment doesn't come from pushing harder, but from softening into what is true. Whenever the world overwhelms you, return to breath, touch, prayer, and quiet imagery. These are not escapes, they are pathways back to your center. And as you practice them, peace will begin to rise within you more quickly, guiding your next steps with clarity and love. There will come a moment soon, my beloved child, when you notice a subtle shift inside you long before anything around you changes. It won't be loud or dramatic. It will feel like a quiet exhale after holding your breath for far too long. That is how breakthrough begins, not with chaos, but with calm. The first sign is an inner stillness that surprises you, a sense that something is settling into place even if you can't yet see the full picture. Stay with me here, because the feeling itself is part of the unfolding. You may wake up one morning with a clarity that wasn't there the night before. Not perfect clarity, just enough light to see the next step. The worries that once spun in circles might soften, losing their grip on your thoughts. Instead of bracing for the worst, you'll feel a small rise of faith, almost like a warm flicker beneath your ribs. This isn't wishful thinking. It's your spirit responding to alignment, moving quietly toward you. Breakthrough always whispers before it speaks. As things begin shifting, you'll notice emotional markers long before the external evidence appears. You'll feel a gentle confidence emerging from within, even if circumstances still look the same. You'll feel less pulled by fear and more supported by an inner assurance that doesn't depend on proof. You'll make decisions with a steadier heart. You'll trust your intuition more easily, not because everything is perfect, but because peace begins leading you instead of anxiety. Unexpected provision may show up in small ways first. A message at the right time. A resource you didn't expect. A door you thought was closed suddenly nudging open just an inch. Someone offering help without you asking. These are the early signs of your path rearranging itself. They won't feel like coincidences, they'll feel like confirmations. And when they do, a quiet recognition will rise inside you, as if your spirit whispers, "This is the beginning." You will also feel gentle nudges, subtle urges to reach out, to rest, to move, to pause, to release something, or to step toward an idea that once felt too big. These nudges won't come with fear or pressure. They will come with softness. You'll feel them in your chest, in your breath, or in the sense that timing suddenly feels right without you forcing it. When alignment draws near, your body knows before your mind fully understands. There will be moments when you sense a new steadiness even within uncertainty. Where you once felt panic, you will feel patience. Where you once felt alone, you will feel accompanied. Where you once questioned your worth, you will feel grounded in quiet confidence. This is anticipation transforming into assurance, shifting you from hoping something will happen to recognizing that something is already happening beneath the surface. Let this truth settle gently into your spirit. Breakthrough rarely arrives as a single event. It arrives as a series of emotional and spiritual cues, small openings that prepare you for a larger unfolding. And even now, something within you is awakening to that reality. There is a soft glow forming around the next chapter of your life, and soon, you'll feel its warmth more clearly than ever. There was a woman named Elena who carried a quiet tiredness in her spirit, the kind that doesn't show on the surface but weighs on every decision. She had been moving so quickly through life that she barely noticed how scattered she had become. One evening, after a long day filled with noise and rushing, she felt the slightest urge to pause. It wasn't a warning or a threat. It was simply a soft nudge, a feeling that asked her to stop for a moment and listen. Something inside her whispered that stillness might reveal what striving never could. She set her phone down, took a slow breath, and let her shoulders fall. The room around her felt unusually calm, as if the air itself had softened. She didn't know why, but she sensed that this quiet held something important. Instead of pushing ahead with her usual routine, she allowed herself to be present. That choice alone began to unravel the tightness she'd been carrying. There was no fear of missing out, no pressure to respond to everything immediately. Just a peaceful recognition that she needed this moment more than she realized. As Elena sat there, breathing gently, memories of the past few weeks drifted through her mind. She remembered the subtle signs she had ignored, a recurring number pattern, a song that always seemed to play when she felt uncertain, a dream that kept returning with different details but the same lingering feeling. At the time, she brushed them off as coincidence. But now, in the quiet, they felt like small pieces of a larger conversation she had forgotten how to hear. Instead of overwhelming her, these memories brought a sense of comfort, as if heaven had been guiding her all along. In that stillness, Elena felt a soft warmth settle in her chest. She couldn't explain it, but it felt like reassurance. She whispered a simple prayer, asking for clarity without demanding answers. Her words weren't polished or poetic, they were honest. And honesty opened a door inside her. A thought rose gently, "You don't have to fight for what's meant for you." The sentence didn't arrive with force. It came like a feather landing on open hands. Over the next few days, she carried that feeling with her. She moved slower, listened more deeply, and paid attention to the small cues she once overlooked. Opportunities that once seemed urgent no longer pulled on her spirit. Instead, she found herself drawn to choices that brought peace rather than pressure. She realized that the path she had been chasing wasn't aligned with the quiet truth unfolding inside her. Then, almost effortlessly, clarity arrived. A conversation with a friend illuminated a new direction she had never considered. A message she received confirmed the idea without her seeking it. Little by little, her path began to realign. Nothing was forced. Nothing was rushed. It unfolded the way morning light gradually fills a room. Elena's blessing didn't appear as a dramatic breakthrough. It arrived as steady clarity, gentle provision, and a renewed sense of purpose. And it all began with one simple decision, the choice to pause, listen, and trust the peace rising within her. As this message settles into your spirit, my beloved child, the real transformation begins in how you carry it through the next few days. A moment of uplift is beautiful, but lasting peace grows through gentle, intentional rhythms. You don't need grand rituals or hours of meditation. What you need is consistency, small acts of awareness that remind your heart what it already knows. Let these next days be a soft landing place where your spirit practices what it has begun to feel. On the first day, give yourself a few minutes to journal without pressure. Write whatever rises naturally, even if it feels unpolished. Let your words spill out like water clearing a path. Ask yourself simple questions. What brought me peace today? Where did I feel guided? What felt heavy that I'm ready to release? These questions help transform passing thoughts into grounded awareness. They shift you from temporary inspiration into an intentional unfolding. As you write, notice the contrast between the scattered noise you've carried and the clarity that begins to emerge. On the second day, pause for a quiet moment ritual. This can be as brief as one slow breath with your hand on your heart, or a short whispered prayer asking for guidance. Choose a time when life feels busiest, even if it's just 30 seconds before you open a door or respond to a message. This ritual teaches your mind to return to peace no matter what the day holds. It becomes a doorway you can step through again and again, reminding you that stillness is always reachable. On the third day, practice simple gratitude. Not forced positivity, but gentle acknowledgement of what supported you. Maybe it's someone's kindness, a moment of rest, or a feeling of connection that surprised you. Gratitude anchors what is real and good, shifting your attention from what is missing to what is growing. It turns fleeting comfort into steady strength. If you continue this pattern for another day or two, journaling, small moments of prayer, quiet breath, gratitude, you will begin to feel a deeper shift. These practices weave the message into your daily life, creating a foundation that holds you through uncertainty. This is how temporary uplift becomes lasting transformation, through small, consistent pauses that let your spirit lead. Let these days unfold gently, knowing that each simple act brings you closer to the alignment already forming around you. You arrived feeling stretched thin by uncertainty, carrying questions you weren't sure you were allowed to ask. You arrived feeling weighed down by delays, wondering if the silence meant you had been overlooked. You arrived feeling the subtle tremble of fear beneath your decisions, trying to navigate life without the clarity your heart longed for. Yet even as you listened, something in you began to shift. A softening. A remembering. A quiet return to yourself. Now you stand knowing that your path has been guided in ways you did not see, shaped with care rather than abandonment. You arrived feeling scattered, pulled in too many directions at once. You arrived trying to make sense of signs you noticed but didn't fully trust. You arrived holding on to past disappointments that sat like stones in your chest. Now you stand knowing that every sign, every nudge, every moment of intuition was part of a larger alignment preparing you gently. You stand knowing that your body recognizes truth before your mind names it. And in that knowing, your spirit feels steadier, as if the ground beneath you has widened. You arrived feeling like peace was something you had to chase, something available to others but elusive to you. You arrived questioning whether your breakthroughs had passed you by, or whether the delays meant you had failed. Now you stand knowing that peace is not a prize but a presence, one that rises from within when fear loosens its hold. You stand knowing that delays were not denials, but protections wrapped in disguise. And with that realization, the future no longer feels like a cliff, it feels like a door opening inch by inch. You arrived feeling small beneath the weight of what you carried. You arrived hoping for reassurance yet bracing for disappointment. Now you stand knowing that reassurance has been whispering to you all along, through breath, through quiet moments, through subtle signs that spoke directly to your soul. Your spirit feels more grounded, more open, more willing to trust the gentle unfolding ahead. And though the full picture has not yet revealed itself, there is hope alive within you, hope that breathes, hope that steadies, hope that reminds you that you are held, guided, and already moving toward what is meant for you. As you reach this gentle ending, my beloved child, let your heart receive a blessing shaped just for you. You have walked through layers of clarity, stillness, and reassurance, and now a soft peace begins to settle over your spirit like a warm shawl placed around your shoulders. You are not meant to carry your journey alone. You are meant to feel held, supported, and seen, not only by heaven, but by others walking their own roads of healing and hope. Let this final moment draw you out of isolation and into quiet connection. May peace surround you like morning light, touching each place that once felt tense or uncertain. May your breath deepen easily, without effort. May every step you take in the coming days be guided by a steady calm that rises from within. You are blessed with discernment, blessed with intuition, blessed with the gentle courage to keep leaning toward what feels aligned. Let your heart feel the truth of this blessing, not as words spoken over you, but as warmth blooming through your chest. You are covered. You are carried. You are cared for. There is a beautiful contrast unfolding inside you now, the shift from standing alone in your thoughts to standing together with others who understand this journey. Isolation whispers that you must figure everything out on your own, but connection reminds you that hearts grow stronger in community. You are invited, never pressured, to step toward that connection. If something in this message touched you, or if you feel the quiet nudge to share your experience, you are welcome to join the space where others gather for comfort and prayer. Leave a comment if you feel led, not because you owe anything, but because your voice might be the exact encouragement someone else needs. You may also join the circle of those who return regularly to these moments of peace. Subscribing or staying connected is simply an invitation to walk alongside others who are embracing their own healing, their own signs, their own alignment. Think of it like lighting a small candle in a room where many others are already glowing. Each light softens the shadows for someone else. Each presence adds warmth to the collective quiet. You're not entering a crowd. You're stepping into a family of hearts learning, listening, and growing together. Before you go, place your hand over your heart for one final slow breath. Feel the rise of your chest, the softening that follows, the way your body responds to gentleness. Let peace settle into you the way rain settles into thirsty soil. Let it root, deepen, and prepare the ground for all that will grow in your life. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are part of a greater rhythm, a greater kindness, a greater unfolding than you can yet imagine. Carry this blessing with you as you move forward. And if your spirit ever needs a reminder, return here, or connect with the community waiting with open hands. Peace goes with you now, settling softly, resting lightly, guiding quietly.